think people and teams that he was past misunderstand him and didn't give him the opportunity to be who he is.
That was Nikola Jokic talking about Russell Westbrook. The Joker isn't one to fling around bold statements often, but I feel like this was one of those rare occasions. And if you've been following Westbrook's roller coaster career since he left OKC, you know exactly why it caught everyone by surprise. As years went by, Russ went from being labeled a triple-double machine to a selfish team killer who can't adapt and whose career in the league is practically over. Yet here we are in 2025 watching him turn the Denver Nuggets season around ever since he became a part of the starting lineup. Now let's rewind a bit and see how we got here. First, Kevin Durant's infamous move to the Warriors in 2016. It was one of the most controversial moves in NBA history and Westbrook felt blindsided. He was angry and hurt by Durant's departure and the fact he didn't get a personal call before KD made the decision. However, according to KD, there was no beef between the two and Durant chose to join Golden State purely for basketball reasons.
What's the relationship like with you guys though? Because I'm sure it's different than what everyone thinks.
Me and Russ? Oh man, it's cool. I mean, it's not like it used to be like when we were, talked every
Brothers,
day. Yeah, I mean, it's more professionals now. I was tired of playing in that system. I was tired of like having to be the only guy that can make threes, make jump shots, and consistently make them.
If it was just basketball, I doubt that KD would just leave without having a discussion with Russ first, but I guess let's believe him. So Westbrook was left in OKC with a label of super talented but tough to play with, whether it was accurate or not. In 2016-17, he put on that monster triple-double MVP season. Yet despite those jaw-dropping stats, the Thunder never reclaimed contender status. They brought in Paul George, Carmelo Anthony, still no deep playoff runs. Meanwhile, Durant was winning rings in Golden State and the narrative that Westbrook was impossible to win with started to stick. Finally, it was time for Russ to leave OKC. He was traded to Houston and actually put up solid numbers, 27 points with 7 assists and 7 rebounds a game. But you definitely could say the fit was awkward. The Rockets were led by ball-dominant Harden and played micro ball, spacing the floor and hunting threes. As you can imagine, not necessarily the most favorable system for Westbrook's game, especially when he's the one off the ball out in the perimeter. Houston was eliminated early in the playoffs and after just a single season, Westbrook was looking for a way out. Apparently, Russ wasn't satisfied with the team's lack of discipline. More specifically, how everything from the bus to practices to film sessions was late. Or in other words, in James Harden's time. Fact was, they just didn't want to play together anymore. And so he was moved to Washington to be paired with Bradley Beal. Again, the triple-double monster emerged and he ended the season with the second highest triple-double count in his career. Plus, let's be honest, that year Wizards outperformed expectations, making the playoffs, and Westbrook became the #1 option there. But one thing is to average big numbers for the Wizards and another is to do it with the Lakers, who had championship aspirations. That was the task Russ faced the very next season. On paper, a partnership with LeBron James and Anthony Davis had potential. Both the Lakers and LeBron felt that way too, as the addition of Russ was anticipated to form a big three. But it became clear very early that calling it a big three was a mistake. In fact, later on, every member that was involved in the Westbrook trade, including LeBron, admitted it was a mistake. The team finished with 33 wins and didn't even make the play-in.
Is Russ' game declining? Hell yeah. Has it declined? Yes. The fact is that Russ' behavior is coming cancerous to the team. Russell Westbrook, if he don't be careful, he will find himself out of the league come next year.
Westbrook's turnovers, missed shots, questionable decision-making, and even body language became the focal point of blame. Many in the media and fanbase agreed with this take, concluding that Westbrook was a net negative on the floor. It was a low point for his reputation, and the Westbrook insults were everywhere, and even the slightest mistake became a headline.
What I'm disappointed with Westbrook is...
What?
Quickly, before I continue, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our future videos. Now, the next brief chapter with the Clippers offered a glimmer of hope. He seemed re-energized, playing alongside Kawhi Leonard and Paul George. But then James Harden arrived, bringing yet another ball-dominant star into the fold. Westbrook's minutes dropped and he looked frustrated. By the time that experiment fizzled, the broader NBA community was convinced he was quote-unquote washed and there was no team left for Russ. He was 36, not as explosive anymore, still limited as a shooter, and apparently unwilling or unable to adapt to a secondary or even a bench role. Usually 5 teams in 5 years is not a good indicator for how your career is going. Then came Denver. Honestly, I'm not gonna pretend I was thrilled when I heard the Nuggets were signing Westbrook. But if there was one guy that was thrilled, it must have been Nikola Jokic. Apparently in the offseason he was pushing behind the scenes to get Westbrook signed. You might be asking, why so? Well, according to some reports, Jokic just wanted to play with him and it wasn't the first time he had thought about it. Although to me, it felt kind of out of place for an organization like Denver. And sure, in the beginning, Westbrook looked out of place. He shot something like 13 for 56 over a stretch of 6 games, mainly coming off the bench. That's 23% from the field from the guy who's supposed to lead your second unit. I'll keep it real, here's what I thought in the beginning of the season. And while Russell Westbrook might have seemed like a decent gamble to add help from the bench, the experiment hasn't really paid off. Everything changed when Jamal Murray went down with an injury. Suddenly, Westbrook was thrust into the starting lineup alongside Nikola Jokic. By the second game of that experiment, he looked like vintage Russ, aggressive, explosive, and in sync with his new teammates. The Nuggets started picking up wins, and the conversation flipped completely. Most notably, it became this newly discovered chemistry that was radiating between Westbrook and Jokic. It's chemistry both on and off the court.
Are you at all surprised with your chemistry with Nikola Jokic? You guys look like you've been playing together your entire careers.
Man, he's the best player in the world. My job is to make the game easy for him, and he does it for everybody else. And it's a pleasure to be able to share the floor with him.
I just love the connection because I just need to look at him and I think he knows exactly knows what I'm thinking. So
whether it's goofing around before the game, or trolling the media in the post-game interviews.
After Russ missed that first free throw, did you tell him to intentionally miss the second one?
yes, I mean he wanted to miss too, so I asked him, do you want to miss a free throw? And he said yes. I said great.
There's all this conversation going back to the MVP season about the triple doubles and everything like that. I looked it up. You've won 74% of your games when you have a triple double.
Really? 74% you said?
Yeah.
Damn. You 74?
74.
So that's the winning percentage, huh?
Yes.
Damn, that's crazy. Yeah.
Jokic is 79.
Fast forward to today, Westbrook is a mainstay in Mike Malone's starting 5 even after Murray has returned from his injury. The Denver Nuggets are 19-7 with Russell Westbrook as a starter. They have climbed up the standings significantly in that stretch. Even more telling are the numbers. In lineups featuring both Westbrook and Jokic, the Nuggets have put up historically good defensive rating, upwards of 125 points per 100 possessions. They are shooting 41% from 3 and have a net rating of plus 14.5. Also, Nuggets have become one of the best fast break teams in the league, averaging close to 19 transition points a night. So, how did this transformation happen? Part of it comes down to Nuggets' style. They're near the bottom in 3-point attempts with around 31 a game, while teams like Boston or Chicago might hoist up 15 or even 20 more threes a game. Denver's approach doesn't revolve around spacing the floor solely for 3-point shots. They rely on cutting, passing, and constant off-ball movement. And that is perfect for a guy like Westbrook, who still has a bunch of burst left at the age of 36. Instead of feeling pressured to stand around and wait for corner threes, he's free to slash, cut, and play fast. Plus, Jokic's unparalleled passing ability means that when Westbrook cuts, he's almost guaranteed to be found. This style has Westbrook playing more off-ball than ever before. At the same time, he still orchestrating the offense when Jokic needs a breather, but that's not the main focus. Instead, being the alpha or the second alpha, he's found a way to function as a dynamic complementary piece who can still hit double digits in points and assists without dominating the entire possession. The result of it? His efficiency is up, his turnovers are more manageable, and he looks genuinely happy out there, something that wasn't the case in LA. Westbrook also made other adjustments. He's shooting fewer ill-advised threes, focusing on corner shots where he's more comfortable, and showing more willingness to pass out of drives instead of forcing contested layups in traffic. It might sound simple, but at this stage of his career, those little tweaks can be the difference between being labeled washed and being labeled the key to a championship contender. And that's how quickly the narrative can change in the NBA. He's in a situation that amplifies his strengths and hides most of his weaknesses. Now the question is, will this Jokic-Westbrook partnership be the recipe for a championship? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, make sure to like, subscribe, check out our previous videos, and I'll see you in the next one.